Do you ever randomly remember something you said 3 days ago and physically cringe, and then replay it again and again, trying to fix it in your head? It's strange how the body reacts first. A tightness in your stomach, a little heat in your face. Maybe you're brushing your teeth, driving to work, or lying in bed almost asleep, and suddenly your mind pulls up that moment like it's breaking news. You hear your exact words. You see their expression. You start editing the scene, adjusting your tone, rewriting the sentence. Some people don't just have conversations, they relive them. If you do this, you may have told yourself it's because you're thoughtful, or analytical, or maybe just awkward. But often, what's happening underneath is something quieter and more instinctive. It's rumination, the mind looping over a social moment, trying to extract certainty from something that already passed. And sometimes, without realizing it, it's also your nervous system trying to protect you. Human beings are wired for belonging. Thousands of years ago, rejection from the group meant real danger. So our brains evolved to scan for social threats, subtle shifts in tone, facial expressions, pauses. When a conversation ends and there's even a hint of ambiguity, your brain doesn't always file it away. It flags it. Did that joke land? Was that too much? Why did they look away like that? You may notice this especially after work meetings. You leave the room, and instead of moving on, your mind replays how you explained your idea. Or after a date, you analyze every pause in the conversation. Even a casual hangout with friends can turn into a post-event debrief inside your own head. It feels productive in the moment, like you're learning, improving, making sure you don't repeat a mistake. And yet, rumination rarely brings relief. It keeps reopening the file. Psychologically, this pattern is closely linked to social anxiety and something called threat sensitivity, a brain that's especially tuned to signs of possible rejection. Not because you're weak, but often because at some point earlier in life, connection felt uncertain. Sometimes it starts in childhood. Maybe approval was inconsistent. Maybe you were praised for being good or polite or easy. Maybe conflict felt intense or unpredictable. A child in that environment learns to monitor carefully, to read the room, to adjust quickly. Over time, that vigilance becomes automatic. And here's the part that's easy to miss. The people who replay conversations the most are often the most empathetic. You care. You genuinely don't want to hurt anyone. You want to be understood. You want to belong without causing friction. So your mind scans for places you might have misstepped. It's not vanity, it's attachment. But often, the replay isn't really about the words you said. It's about the question underneath. Am I still okay with them? Rumination promises control. If I just think about it long enough, I'll find the right version. I'll secure the bond. But social interactions don't work like math equations. They're messy, imperfect, human. And the irony is, most of the time, the other person has already moved on. You're at home dissecting a single sentence, and they're thinking about dinner, or their inbox, or their own moment of awkwardness from earlier that day. Over time, this habit can quietly shape how you see yourself. You might start believing you're socially clumsy, too much, not enough. You may hold back in future conversations to avoid giving yourself new material to analyze later. And that restraint can feel like safety, but it can also feel lonely. Sometimes you might not even realize how automatic it's become. The replay happens in the background while you're doing other things, a low hum of self-evaluation. But here's something gentle to consider. The urge to replay is not a flaw in your personality. It's a sign of how deeply you value connection. It's your mind trying, in its own imperfect way, to protect your place in the social world. And maybe that's why it stings a little when the memory resurfaces. Because underneath the cringe, underneath the analysis, there's something tender. A desire to be accepted as you are, pauses, awkward phrasing, imperfect timing, and all. Sometimes the conversation you're replaying isn't really about what you said. It's about how much it matters to you to belong.